Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today, I wanted to do something a little different. I used an AI agent to take a look at Aster, as you can probably tell by the title of this video. I used an AI agent to fully research the Aster project, what they are, what their roadmap is, what they have already accomplished, and what they're all aiming to do. And I added on top of that a price prediction for 1 year, 5 years, and 10 years from now to see if it aligns with our plan, or my plan at least, for investing into it, the possible upside potential, possible benefits, possible downsides, risks, of course, that are associated with a relatively new project. And it also includes why I think it could do a lot better than HBAR, for example. So I'm going to run through that document during this video. Yeah, please follow along. I think it'll be very interesting. I think it's very insane that it took an AI agent around 15 minutes to do this, 15 to 20 minutes. If I personally would have research have had to research everything like this, it would have taken me hours, and possibly it wouldn't even be this good. So I think this is a very cool video. I think it's a very different approach, but yeah, more information is more better in my opinion. So yeah, let's just get into this. All right, guys. So here we are at the document provided by our AI agent. Like I said, it took quite a bit of time for it to run, but I think it's very interesting with what it all showed and what it came up with. And I think even when we get to the price and market cap projections, they align pretty much with what my own analysis, my own thought process was thinking of, price point wise, where it would or could end up. So yeah, I think it's very interesting, and I'll just run by it slowly one by one. So as I said, it has a short introduction. Aster, newly launched cryptocurrency at and the native token of the Aster DEX, asterdex.com, of course, etc., etc., etc. So it includes a current price and market cap, a community and sentiment, investors and roadmap, a risk analysis, which I really like to see actually, and price and market cap projections, obviously. So yeah, the fundamentals is the current price $2.11 US. I don't think that is correct actually. I think it's off a little bit on that. Uh, Market cap, it is pretty close. Circulating supply might be the reason why that's a little off, why the price isn't exactly lining up. Trading volume is pretty much on the mark. I think that's actually very, very, very good considering how new it is, how recently it launched. And we have a community, a market sentiment in this analysis. It has 150,000 followers, which I think, like I said, for a new project, that's really, really good. Like Telegram's considerably smaller, 28,000 members, even though that's still quite a considering following. Discord, it doesn't have a very accurate count. On-chain users, now that I kind of like. This number I do like. 770,000 traders and 2 million transactions. Um, Honestly, I'm not sure about those numbers, because that much traders and only 2 million transactions, I think that doesn't really line up. I do think the 2 million transactions could be correct, but 770,000 traders with only a few trades between each one of them, they would surpass that amount of transactions sooner. So that could be a little on the offside. So numbers wise, it's not an exact match, but what I do like is that it lists all the benefits, all the features, all the technical and fundamental information basically about the project. And if you've known me for a little bit longer, you know I like looking at fundamentals of a project. I like investing in projects that have staying power. So when I keep shoving money in, I know that in a few years' time, the project will still be here. It'll still be valuable. It will still be fulfilling a purpose, and it will still be useful. So yeah, the more we get into this document, the more we get to the points where basically what I mean with talking about this. So yeah, trending topics include Aster surpassing Hyperliquid in volume. Now that I think is very good for such a new project. Whale accumulation, influencer purchases. So basically, that's the point where we're at now. The first, I think the first wave of investors, like the early adopters, people who bought before the launch, etc., have cashed out considerably, have taken out a large chunk of money. We can see that in the price. There we can also see that the AI agent is not 100% up to date because the current price, I think, is 1.5 ish, something like that. So I'm not 100% sure on that myself, actually, but at least it's lower than it's expected, but it has had a considerable dip. And yeah, I don't have the chart on me right now, but if we look at the chart, I looked at the chart right before this video, we see the price has come down quite considerably, and we're now starting to see some buy candles. So we're starting to see good support forming, and I think that's the phase where we're at now. So we can now start accumulating ourselves, or I personally could accumulate a little more. I'm looking at buying a little more. Token distribution concerns 96% held by the top 6 wallets. Now, that is a very concerning amount, uh, but that's what I like about this AI agent. It also explained why. So when we get further into the document, it explains why and why it's not necessarily an extreme risk. So it's not necessarily a token which is primed to be rug pulled. But more on that in a little bit. So speculation about wash trading and artificial volume. I know a lot of projects actually do this. Almost all meme coins do this. That basically they run bots which buy and sell the same token, and especially on networks where fees or buying and selling fees are really really low, they're able to do this without much cost, and they're just like, it makes the token or the network look a lot more busy than it actually is. So it is artificial volume. I know almost all projects do this. It would depend on how high the artificial volume is, but um, considering like in the next part where we get now, YZI Labs, venture founded by former Binance executives, minority investor in Aster. So they are involved, which I think is good. So ZZ, or I don't know his first name, but the former owner of Binance or founder of Binance basically called it out. And a core team is former Binance engineers and developers from APX Finance and Aster US. So it has big partnerships listed on Bybit, Gate.io, MaxC, and others. Obviously, you can also buy the token on their own DEX platform. Oracle's integrate Chainlink, Python, Binance Oracle, infrastructure built on BNB Smart Chain, plans for own chain. So I think this is all very positive. Like, especially this first part, like Binance is, I think, argumentatively the biggest crypto exchange in the space right now. It has massive volume, massive use case, and if it's basically part of Binance, it's not officially, but basically part of a lot of people from Binance or former Binance, etc. If they manage to shift some of their trading volume onto this project, which I think it already has a little bit, but that will massively drive the price and volume and value of this project. So they have an Aster training plan, a layer 1 blockchain using Hashgraph like consensus, etc. Testnet expected in 2026, which for development purposes is actually really, really quick, considering they only just launched. So hopefully they make good on that promise, but technically it could also be December 2026. So that would technically be more than a year, but we'll have to see. I do think it's a very good thing. I think I always like projects which continue to develop after launch, and yeah, basically projects which aren't meme coins, which have a use case, and expanding on that use case makes it even better. So product expansion, adding perpetuals for stocks, indices, FX, and commodities. So forex in commodities, I think this is all really good. Like expanding markets is gonna drive more volume, more value. Again, a mobile app already launched. Future updates include social trading features. So uh, I think a lot of trading apps already have this. So I don't see this necessarily as a big advantage. It kind of depends on how they're copy trading, social trading, how it will work. Because a lot of the times, one-to-one copying will end up in big losses for you. So I'm not a big fan of copy trading. I don't know. I don't think that will be the thing to drive this project further. But the fact that they already have an app launched, uh, I mean, it's only good. It only yeah, gives the project more validity. So tokenomics, buyback and burn program. They do have a buyback program, and they have not elaborated on a burn program yet. So unless I'm mistaken, and the AI is more up to date than I am, but I don't think it is. But I saw some tweets which said that buybacks were confirmed, but burns were not necessarily confirmed. If they are, and if I'm wrong, please let me know in the comments below. I think that is very important to know, because if they do both of these with the generated fees, etc., that they produce, I mean, that makes the token deflationary, and which will increase value even more. So I think that's very positive if it is. Buybacks alone is something I always advocated for crypto projects, but very few projects put their money where their mouth is. So I think this is a very good benefit even more benefit for this project. So if you haven't noticed already, I am getting quite bullish for this project. Governance plans for DAO-based governance in future phases, so possibly launch pads, etc., all connected to it. Basic DeFi stuff, I suppose. Investment funds, like, I don't know. I'm not necessarily very bullish on this, but more volume, more use case, more value. So once again, I think it's a good feature to have. Uh, so here I asked it to also add a little comparison between Aster and Hype or Hyperliquid, which is basically a direct competitor. So a DeFi platform and token DEX for perpetuals, which they both are. It Hype launched in 2023, so or mainnet launch token released in 2024. So it has had a massive jump start on Aster. And considering Aster surpassed it in trading volume, I think is very telling. I think that's very impressive to do. Multi-chain DEX plans for Aster chain has grabbed with a custom layer 1 optimized for high-speed trading off-chain order book with on-chain settlement. So I do remember reading somewhere that they both do on-chain settlements. But multi-chain, I always like multi-chain more than one single chain, because if you've ever bridged tokens, you know it's a hassle to do, and I always try to avoid it as much as I can. So if I can just trade on the chain that I'm using, I always like that more. So I consider this a benefit for Aster. 1000x leverage, hidden orders, yield-bearing collateral. I think yield-bearing collateral is actually, I think that could be very good. I think I always like making money on alternatives ways, just not like 1000x leverage trading. It's a fun gimmick, but honestly, I think it's way too risky. I don't like doing it, but I mean, if it's your thing, that's all good to you. But I like yield bearing collateral because it'll generate a lot of fees, a lot of profits on leverages like this. And if you manage to snag a piece of the pie while not actively trading, I always like products like that. Zero gas fees for traders is what Hype has. Subsecond finality, deep liquidity, native point system. Not exactly sure what it all means, what it all the benefits are. Zero gas fees for traders. I know traders like, we're all cheap. We all try to trade as cheaply as possible. So I think that's a benefit for them. 100K, 150K Twitter followers, CZ and Mr. Beast support. I did not know Mr. Beast also supported it. So I think that's once again a very big boon for community hype-wise for Aster. They're also growing apparently. But I think right now all the hype is focused on Aster. So I'm no pun intended actually, but I think Aster has gotten the beat. Adoption 90% market share in perps. So that is, I think that's very, very good. I think that's very big, actually. Once again, these trading volume numbers, I don't think they're correctly. I do think Hype is one of the top 3 dexes, but if we look at their market cap, their current market cap is around $13 billion, and Aster is only around 3 actually, only around $3 billion in market cap. So comparing the two, like in theory, this could do like a 4, maybe 5x, and it would still be smaller than Hype, and it has already surpassed it in trading volume. So that makes it highly likely, in my eyes, that it technically it could go a lot higher price wise. So that's part of like the last video I did why I am relatively bullish. But yeah, decentralization, non-custodial token, highly concentrated. Non-custodial broader community token distribution post airdrop. So they are going to do distributions and further airdrops. That's also part of why there is still so many wallets, so few wallets. High short-term upside, long-term depends on execution. Now, I completely agree with this. This is also high growth potential, driven by innovative tech and strong trader incentives. But Aster-wise, I'd say, especially short term, this could go up. Like I said, we could also reach that $12 billion market cap, which would, or 15 billion, whatever. It could technically do like a 4x, maybe 4.5, and it would match Hype in market cap, and that would like be 450% on your current investment. So the lower we go now, the lower this dip goes, the more I try to buy, and I think this upside potential is very, very real, considering all the benefits we just listed. So I did another risk analysis matrix in this. A token concentration over 90% held by 6 wallets. One wallet holds 44.7%. That major, so possible scenario, major holder dumps tokens after vesting. Potential consequence, price crash, loss of trust, reputational damage. This one wallet that is that 44.7%, that is an airdrop wallet. So that is technically tokens that have yet to be distributed over time, over a vested period. So that will not unlock in one go. And that, to me, is at least very reassuring on that. Very reassuring on that. Because if this was a private person, he could immediately drain the wallet, drain the token, and make off with a lot of money. But it's not a private person, it is the institution themselves. So they, even if they would do that, it does not benefit them, and it would make them very liable for several lawsuits, I suppose. So I think that is relatively safe. I like that it's mitigated, that risk is mitigated. And this regulatory risk, perpetuals offered without KYC AML. So yeah, that is the DeFi part. That is crypto in an essence, basically. And I think with the regulations right now, especially in America, are very favoring to crypto. I don't think this is gonna happen very soon, that they're gonna try to ban or block Aster. And even if they would just move to a different country. And I did not even check, but I don't think they're actually based. They're probably not fully based in America either. They will have accounted for this risk, but I'm not 100% sure of that. Following the clown, etc. Technical risk, bugs, exploit, or performance issues. So even that's the best part about DeFi. If you do not leave all your tokens on that platform, I would not do that. But that's the easy part of DeFi trading. You get in, you get out. You keep your tokens in your own wallet. So that makes it very less prone to be hacked or glitched or whatever. And even if you lose maybe a tiny bit if they get hacked, which is on the platform, or you have some downtime, that does not really affect you. It does not matter as much. So that is relatively safe compared to other platforms which we saw hacked or crashed, like FTX or Celsius or BlockFi, etc. So obviously there's always risk. DeFi especially is always risky, but I do not think this is a very high risk in this case. Market and competition risk. I mean, we all that's what we will always have that. We Aster is the market and competition risk to hype. There will be a new product or project in the future which will try to combat it. I'm 100% sure of that. General market volatility or bear market, not worried. That's something which always happens. So price and market cap forecast. So I asked it to do 1 year, 5 year, and 10 years. So in 1 year, expected price $4, range 3 to 5. Now remember that these numbers are a little bit lagging, but in all honesty, I do not think this is a very strange assumption. But we can see that it is currently, so depending on how much unlocks, this could be true. But with the current supply, $16 billion would make it around the $12 price range. So depending on how much more tokens, etc., we go, but these numbers are not 100%. But I think market cap wise, it could actually be very, very close to it. It could be very, very right to this. So in 1 year, we double or triple that market cap volume. We reach or slightly surpass the current market cap of hype, which I think is realistic because it took them 2 years to do it as well. So we could shave that down to 1 year with the current hype and market volume we're pushing. So we could reach that $16 billion. Testnet launch, mild bullish market. And when the Aster chain goes live, ecosystem expansion, top tier DeFi platform, then we see that $100 billion in several years, in 5 years actually. $120 billion, I think also very realistic if all those products come out, the adoption comes, we don't run into too much competitiveness, too much problems. I think this is a relatively normal growth. And this is why I always keep hammering on that 10 years promise for all crypto, not just this one. I'm always aiming for that 10 years because in essence, it would add two numbers to the current market cap. It would add two zeros. And that's what I'm thinking for almost all cryptos. So obviously, this is very speculative. It could be that in 10 years, it could be 1.2 billion, but in 11 years, it could be that 120. That's something we don't know, but that's going to be speculation. But I think for products or projects like this, which have massive teams, massive following, massive plans, adoption, and funds to do all this stuff, I think this is a very realistic prediction is the word I'll use, especially the 5 year one. I think that 5 year prediction is very realistic. The 10 years might be pushing it, but that's something we'll see by then. And it could go a lot quicker. It could go a lot slower. It could go a lot quicker. But that's something we go with emotions. But I don't think this is too far off. And honestly, I don't think in 1 year that $16 billion market cap is too far off. So yeah, as a conclusion, Aster has rapidly emerged as a dominant player in the DeFi perpetual space, backed by a strong team, influential supports, and innovative technology. Now, I won't read the rest out loud, but yeah, I think that I completely agree with that. It fulfills a clear market need. I do agree with that as well, because we've seen a lot of people, like I personally cannot trade on Binance or Bybit or OK Exchange, etc. They're all blocked because of the EU regulations. So yeah, if I was a big leverage trader, I would want a reliable place where I'm not constantly bothered with extra KYC or extra measures or extra laws constantly prohibiting me from having a trusted platform. So in that essence, I think it's a very good idea, and with a well thought out product, I think it could become a very big network or chain in the future even. So yeah, I completely agree with that. Backing by CZ and YZI Labs, I think is also very good for it. There are some risk, but that is crypto. And compared to HBAR, that's actually not wrong. Aster is more hype driven and retail focused, while HBAR is enterprise oriented. Uh, I, I agree, but not for HBAR actually. So I kind of missed that little mistake in there. But that, of course, should be hype. In price, forecast suggests significant upside if Aster executes its roadmaps and navigates risks. So I completely agree with that last sentence. If they do what they say that they're going to do, they're going to do well, they're going to generate volume, they're going to generate value. And like I said, with the backing that it has, you know that if they do something positive, it's going to be highlighted on all these social media networks, and they're definitely going to be pushing it. All right, so that concludes my my analysis, or basically the AI agents analysis, and my summary of it, my talking through it. If you've liked this, please leave a like and subscribe. If you don't agree, or if you have a different take or whatever, feel free to leave a comment and I'll reply to that. And yeah, let's see you on the next one, guys. I enjoyed doing this one, and I'll probably do a lot more. See you.